instant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition.
Something crawl right up on me knee. Mommy like the lump of me see. I crawl right under me knee.
Leading the expedition to Belize is Bob Justice, dive master and scuba instructor, who was first arrested on a morals charge in 1963 for dancing naked in front of various barnyard animals.
Mommy like the lump of me see. Something biting me and me. Mommy like the lump of me see. Something biting me and me. People think I like me, I tell mommy girl like the lump of you see. People think I like me, I tell mommy girl like the lump of you see. Mommy like the lump of me see. Something biting me and me.
Take a chance.
Here we see a man exercising his prerogative as a French gooseur. June Grasser is the receptionist of such an aggressive form of behavior. Here she is with him, or maybe him with her. We focus on her towel and her eyeballs, which are imported from Germany. Paul Parker is holding up his hands, as if to say, "Hey, I am Paul Parker, holding up my hands." Here is Bobby, showing how to wiggle his fingers. Into the sunlight, of course. Here are two dead bodies floating behind the boat. Here is Dennis Malone before he had his sex change operation. We get closer to this man who looks like he's fishing, and this is the fish he's trying so hard to catch. A Linda fish. Notice the absolute perfect form. Lyle Dunham, for example, does not have any eyes. So we pasted these sunglasses on his head. Leroy holds a bow and arrow in his hand, as if to say. Madeleine Graham here, climbing up aboard our ship in order to look at the sails while we look at her, huh? This is a Pole, no Polish jokes here. Here is Reinhardt. Nobody cares that he's here, but we must give him a little shot, you know, or he'll feel bad. Here is an aquascooter by the name of George Sazich. I once had a Sazich and applied a new cream. Oh, never mind. Here we stare at this lady climbing up the backbone of a whale, holding up a bag full of sandwiches that are now water-sogged. And here we see a bearded clam on the half-smell. And introducing the famous, the one and only, the one with whom it would not be him without of which, crawling upside down, Monsieur Sharkbait himself, the Aqua Scooter Man, sometimes known as the Berserk One of the underwater cinema. Here are great clouds of fart bubbles Mr. Scooter Man has given to the ocean bubbles, just to show that he is stronger and more powerful than a speeding poop. That's spelled poop, you know? Poop. Comment on dit poop en français? Ah, poop, c'est caca. Here our film is overexposed, just trying to show you what fools we are. We look off and we see a giant hole in the planet Earth. This is a blue hole. This is a belly blue hole, a burnout blue hole's father. Here we see a large ship stranded on a coral reef for 3,000 years. It was sailed into this lagoon by some old monkeys and a few gazelles. Here our happy crowd disembarks, scraping the barnacles off the aeroplane, which is hard to find on aeroplanes. And here is our boat, the Ilamia, sometimes known as the Islamia, sometimes known as Islam. As we head south towards Tanatuva, a country that was bombed by the Air Force in 1904, we notice a fish in the water, diving and swimming and jumping and frolicking about. We love our little fish.
Something crawl right up on me. Mommy like the lump I crawl right down me.
We hear the Belize Chamber of Commerce singing their favorite song, "Come spend a buck, but be careful and duck, you whitey you." Here we are looking in the third aft hold, where we keep giant termites to eat the ship when we are not aboard. We look above to the after shower, where we keep a large whalebone which this lady is about to climb up. Most people are staring at her chest, not realizing there's a lobster attached to her foot. Here again we see a giant barracuda that it looks like they're catching, but no. They put it on the hook and put it in the water just to fool us, but we know better. Here he is grinning, even though his restaurant sells poisonous fish. He himself likes to grin all the time. There it is, a perfect replica of his sister. Oh yes, he's trying to show his face again. This person here is the one who glued the fish to the boat. Some of these clams have been imported from Brazil and Australia just to be put in the waters of Belize. Paul Rosenberg has been drinking great amounts of booze at this point, and so we have 3 million years of footage of blue water.
June Gresser, assistant instructor, Bob's dive buddy, and part-time go-go dancer at the Leather Lounge.
Yes, the aqua scooter is about to be gunned into play. We will watch as Paul Rosenberg tries to hold on to the goddamn thing while it pulls him through the water, tearing his mask off his face and pulling his pants off his body. He makes it look like it is easy, but we know it's impossible to start.
Holy like the meaty, something
Well, underwater, we find out that it is truly only 4 inches deep here. Notice all the shrubbery imported from the nursery in Belize. And it is with great utter boredom that this fish enters the screen, looking for food, something it can eat. Rosenberg jumps in the water and offers it a jumbo jack with extra order of fries. However, he does not speak Spanish, so cannot communicate with the fish. Here we have a herd of buffaloes underwater, trying their best to look like little fish. But we know better, don't we, mates? We let them scoot around a while, and we notice this yellowfin Swadflechner. It is a German fish that grows in Berlin, but swam here in the 1930s to escape the wrath of Hitler. That's Alfred there. Herbert and Alfred are gay and hang out together. Here we see the last remains of Paul Rosenberg's thinking process. Now we enter the great forest primeval, where unknown dangers lurk, waiting to pounce on us and perhaps bite off our family jewels. You know what I mean? I remember the last episode where Bob Justice lost a great erection. This time he brought a wooden one, thinking the fish would not like it, eh? We are now about to see a large shark. There it is, a large shark, sending everybody scooting for the surface. It's only 2 inches long, but it strikes fear into the hearts of all of us. Oh, I beg your pardon. Here is a reggae fish. My appetite is increasing momentarily by looking at all these fish. Makes me want to order a large mac. Here is a hole in the bottom of the floor of the ocean where you put your coins and make a wish. And then sure enough, a large clam will bite your toe. Slowly we come upon a school of yamushka fish. These fish are famous for absolutely nothing. People all over the world refuse to write about them because they're so boring. They have 14 teeth and they keep it in their tail. Notice the straight line going across the screen is a piccolo fish. No, it's a flute fish. No, it's a horn fish. No, it's a trumpet fish. Yes, it's a trumpet fish. You can tell because his mouthpiece is made of brass. Watch as he goes looking for his food. Trumpet fish eat nothing but piccolos and small bassoons, which is why there's no more.
meaty. Something crawl right up on me knee. Mommy like the lump meaty. I crawl right under me knee. People think I like me, I tell mommy girl like the lump on you see. People think I like me.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a mush pie. It's a dorsal fin mush pie, which is extremely rare. This is a large barracuda. The film does not show you that it is actually 4 city blocks in length, weighing somewhere close to 3,500 tons. While my father put a saddle on one of those things and rode it from Belize to Alabama.
Mommy like the lump meaty. Something biting me a meanie. People think I like me, I tell mommy girl like the lump on you see. People think I like me, I tell mommy girl like.
Spitting fish. Look at that, how he does that. Is that not clever, the way he eats that little cotton ball?
Mommy like the lump meaty. Something biting me a meanie. Mommy like the lump meaty. Something crawl right up on me knee. People think I like me, I tell mommy girl like the lump on you see. People think I like me, I tell mommy girl like the lump on you see.
And Bob and June are underwater together. I wonder if her mother knows.
On me knee. People think I Mommy holy like the meaty, something biting me a meanie. Mommy holy like the meaty, something crawl right up on me knee. People think I like me, I tell Master Jones holy like Panchi see. People think I like me, I tell Master Jones holy like Panchi see. Mommy holy like the meaty, something crawl right up on me knee. People think I like
Paul Rosenberg dives below the surface and sees what he thinks is a great shot. But believe me, it looked a lot better than it does in this crummy film.
something biting me a meanie. Mommy like the meaty, something.
Linda grabs a triggerfish with her bare gloved hand, and here watch her make the fish pecker. Come on, fish, pecker. I love you, little fish. The fish reminds Linda very much of her long-lost love, another triggerfish named Wally.
Madeline Graham, researching for Steinhardt Aquarium, holds on for dear life while she leaves a trail of dive gear behind.
George Liver Fluke, another groupie. This one used to hang out with Jimi Hendrix.
Paul Rosenberg, voted the best-dressed diver on this expedition and most likely to become a substitute anchor.
It's a tube.
The dreaded groper, feared by many divers because of its tendencies to swim up your shorts and spawn in your family jewels.
It's a crab, ladies and
Gentlemen, and Rosenberg will pour 3,000 quarts of Paronate 200 into the water. Black people love us here in Belize. That is why we're underwater. Therm buttocks. That is hard to define, but Rosenberg likes to make close-ups of these things, you know. Here is 3 underwater telephone repairmen, which I don't know how they got into our film, but we will take a close-up of an elbow. Look, see that elbow? Repairman's elbow is hard to find. In fact, it's a ray. I once heard that when I was in a speakeasy. They said that, watch out, it's a ray. Or perhaps it was a raid. Notice how it silkily sponges across the firmament of the great dividing forces known to us only as rock.
Joining the expedition is Dennis Malone, a student of Bob Justice, short order cook, and practicing homosexual.
It is with great trepidation and supreme boredom that we leave these waters and say goodbye to this famous human clone with a skimpy restaurant bathing suit on. as he follows the triggerfish into the moonlight. We scrape off the little crabs on our wetsuits and head off into the sunset, once more gaining the advantage over our little fish by the power of our gasoline engines. And so, as we head up to Novato through the Belize Channel, we say adieu, so long, goodbye, and most of all, see you later, Charlie. Oh, this is Maurice. Maurice Cousteau, Jacques' great-grandfather, saying so long, as we get one last glimpse of the Supreme Ugly One spouting some wisdom. Good night. It is time to go. As darkness sets in, we poke at our watches, wondering if beneath our watch a wrist exists. As we set sail, we sail from Belize to Alabama once again. To Emeryville on the horizon, we see the Statue of Liberty sunk beneath the waters of Belize. And so, to the happy people who hate our guts, we say good night, goodbye, and drink Dos Equis on weekends. And now we crash into the shore. This little person says, "Boy, are you ugly, Whitey, and don't come again." Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and cram it. And don't forget the famous saying that Philippe said. Philippe once told me, he said, "Father, I don't give a shit, and neither do I. Good night, and so long." I bet you're tired of goodbyes by now. Well, so am I. So this will be one final farewell as we go east and west across the north-south directional compass. We say goodbye to our happy village of Belize people who are called Belizites or Belizeans, you know what I mean? This man here is also saying goodbye. So again, we say goodbye, so long, farewell, au revoir, au reservoir, arrivederci, auf Wiedersehen. But mainly, cram it, you all, and good night. Meanwhile, we once again say goodbye to everything we said goodbye to before, only this time it's for keeps. So, goodbye, so long, and farewell to you too, Monsieur Rosenberg. Goodbye, crew. And in case you've forgotten, goodbye, farewell, and goodbye again. Yes, it's with fond goodbyes that we again say goodbye. You might notice we've said a lot of goodbyes in this movie. It's amazing how boring you can be without a script. Meanwhile, back in Auckland,